So in today's video, we're going to take a look at what's going to happen if the United States tries to form an empire in 2024. And they're going to be invading some countries in order to form the empire. And yeah, let's get right into the video. So before any sorts of expansions, let me tell you that the United States is never going to form an empire because they are a democratic nation. And there is no way they're going to be forming an empire, but this is just going to be a fake scenario in which they try to form an empire in 2024. One more thing is that we're going to ignore all of their allies and all the alliances like NATO and the United Nations. And yeah, now let's get back to the wars. So the first country which they're going to be invading is going to be Cuba. And yeah, now Cuba is pretty messed up because the US Navy has just landed on Cuba. And now they're getting closer and closer to Havana, and thus they take the capital city of Cuba. And now they accelerate to take all of Cuba. And yeah, now Cuba is the 51st state of the United States. But now they're going to go after a much bigger country, and that country is Canada. But before you guys start writing in the comment section that the United States would never go to war against Canada, I also know that, but just for the sake of this video, we're just gonna do that. And yeah, now the United States is at war with Canada. We can now see that the United States is pushing towards Alaska in order to connect itself with Alaska. We can see another push in the East Coast where the United States is aiming to take the capital city of Canada. And with the last push into Canada, the capital city is now taken. By the way, the capital city is Ottawa, not Toronto. And one more thing is that most of the Canadian population lives on the border with the United States. And yeah, now the United States is using it to their advantage. They know that most of the Canadian population lives on the border with the US. And with all of their major cities gone and most of their military bases gone, and also in order to survive, Canada goes ahead and surrenders. Now let's go ahead and take a look at this peace treaty. And yeah, in this peace treaty, we can see that the US has now connected itself to Alaska, and this border is now looking much more natural. The United States took all of the important cities as well as the capital city of Canada, but they did not vassalize Canada because Canada is already a more pro-US ally. So yeah, moving on. The next country which they're going to be invading is, well, Mexico. And once again, I know that they won't go to war against Mexico, but just for the sake of this video, once again. So we can see that the US forces have now cut off Baja California from Mexico, and we can see a naval landing on the Gulf of Mexico, which goes surprisingly well for the United States. These troops are now going into Baja California, which after getting cut off from Mexico goes ahead and surrenders. And we can see a full-scale invasion of Mexico by the United States. And now things are not looking good for Mexico as they're fighting a two-front war. More and more troops now push into Mexico from the Gulf of Mexico. And now another fully mobilized army has reached the border with Mexico, in which they take all of these northern parts. Well, these troops are now heading towards Mexico City, which lies somewhere around maybe here. And now these other troops are taking the coastline from Mexico. These troops finally meet up, and after a decisive military campaign, they have now taken Mexico City. But in order to not completely get annexed, Mexico just goes ahead and surrenders. Now let's take a look at this peace negotiation. And taking a look at this peace treaty here, we can see that the US took all of these parts from Mexico, as well as Baja California and this tiny bit of land. This part was also taken by the US. But once again, because Mexico is a close US ally, they did not vassalize Mexico. There's only one thing that they want to do in North America, and that one thing is they want to buy Greenland. And I didn't say they're going to invade Greenland. They're actually going to buy Greenland from Denmark. So for about $100 billion, they have now bought all of Greenland. And yeah, now Greenland is also a part of the United States. Now I did say they're done with North America, but they have one country to invade in South America as well. And that country, not surprisingly enough, is Venezuela. And does Venezuela stand a chance? No, they don't. And they absolutely get bombarded by the US. And yeah, I don't remember any country named Venezuela. If you guys remember any country named Venezuela, let me know in the comments. And now they're done with the Americas, and they don't want any more land, but they want some strategic locations around the world. Yeah, those strategic locations include Egypt, Djibouti, Sri Lanka, and Malaysia. Now all these countries are geopolitically very strategic locations for the US or any superpower. Egypt has the Suez Canal. Djibouti controls the entrance to the Red Sea. They can use Sri Lanka and Malaysia to control China. And yeah, now they're at war with Egypt, Djibouti, Sri Lanka, and Malaysia. Well, the first country to go out is Djibouti, and we can see a naval landing on the coast of Sri Lanka, thus taking their capital city, and Sri Lanka surrenders. And the same goes for Malaysia. The US forces have now entered Kuala Lumpur, which is the capital city of Malaysia, and the rest of the country just surrenders. But in Egypt, they're gonna have a little bit of hard time. We can see a naval landing on the northern parts of Egypt. They cut off the Sinai part from Egypt. This part surrenders. But the US did not want to invade all of Egypt, so they just go ahead and negotiate a peace deal now. And in the peace deal, we can see that the US has now control over the Suez Canal. They also have Djibouti, Sri Lanka, as well as Malaysia. So right now, the US is at its greatest extent, and I don't think they're going to expand more. So this is going to be it for today's video. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to subscribe, leave a comment, and tell me what you guys want to see in the future. And yeah, thank you for watching.